Good morning, friends of the trailer park. How are we doing out there? Do me a favor, like this, share this. All the things I always forget to ask you guys to do. Let's see. Oz, if you're out there in the Ethernet, will you kick me off on the rock fin? I know I'm bad. I should have got it set up myself, but I've been so crazy busy this week. So I will get it done. I promise. I promise. Let's have a little driving music while we get this show started. How about that one? Let's try that one. Yeah, I kind of like this one. It's kind of weird though. How is everybody this morning? Are we live on Rockfin yet? Come on, Rockfin. Let's go. And there we are. Oz is always on the ball. That's why he is the man behind the curtain. Because he knows. Good morning, Kate. Good morning, Fred. Yeah, 10-4. That's okay. That 10-4 dinosaur still carries over to this show. Let's see if I can get everything logged in. Let me find a couple of banners because I want to thank my Patreon. You guys are amazing. And you guys take my breath away. I don't even have the words to thank you guys for the things that you do. I would not be here. I would not have any of the stuff that I've been working on. You guys just help me pursue my dreams. And thank you. I can't thank you guys enough. And now this trip to DC, you guys are helping fund. Thank you so much. We got a lot of stuff to talk over today. My God, what is going on? We're going to war, it looks like, right? If they get their way. Hey, Uncle Warren. Good morning. Let's see. I see a few people coming in. Hey, Cold Fusion Gaming. That one kind of belongs to me. So, okay, well, let's just get moving into the deck this morning. A couple of things have happened. I feel like I'm not awake this morning. It's like, okay, what am I doing next? Let's kill the music. Even though I like the music. I'm going to bring in more music. There's a whole ton of music that you can bring in from like YouTube. I just haven't had time. I have been so stinking busy the last week because, as you know, I was working with a group from the next county over that is Republican based. And we did a independent candidate forum this weekend, Friday night. And of course, we invited all of the candidates in our LD, our CD, all the way up to House of Representatives. And only a couple of the Republicans actually showed up. One of the Democrats sent his campaign manager to give us a message. And so I recorded it and then I had to edit it. And, there's always sound issues. Oz was amazing with DaVinci. I'm so proud of Oz and Linda for what they've accomplished in DaVinci. The video looks great, I think, for what it was. And thank you, everybody who helped out with it and helped us get, some information out there. Voters want to hear from these people. And it seems like the Dems could give a shit less. Like, because my son, he is president of the Rotary. They had a candidate forum with the same people scheduled and they all bagged out too. So I guess I'm just lucky I got the ones to show up that I did. So that's what I've been doing this week, and it's been keeping me super busy, but that is off my plate now. So I'm focusing on the trip to DC, which we leave Friday night, hit the ground Saturday morning, and then fly back on Sunday. So it's going to be a crazy busy weekend trying to, get my bags packed, get all of my tech and all of my gear ready to go, loaded up, everything charged, the thing. The thing that's what Biden always says, the thing, right? Okay, so we'll get this deck started. Fair use. Everything that I comment on is fair use. I am just giving you my opinion. I suggest you go out there and do your own research and come up with your own opinion. These are just my assumptions and opinions. Welcome to the trailer park. If you'd like to help the trailer park out, you can PayPal me, even though PayPal sucks. And I'm going to move to Give, Send, Go as soon as I get back from DC. But for now, this is the fundraising that I had in place. So I appreciate everybody, especially you, Kate. Kate, you like to sneak in and surprise me out of nowhere. And I appreciate it so much. Amber and I really appreciate it. And thank you so much. and everybody else who's been donating and giving. On Thursday's show, I'm going to do a whole entire list and shout out to everybody who produced our trip to DC. And you guys are producing the content. I mean, we might be out there doing the work, but if we can't fund to get out there, then we can't do the work. So you guys are paying to produce what we do. So you're producing independent media on your own by supporting us. And we just appreciate it so much. The first time I did a show was like, I mean, I did a couple of shows in like 2016, 2017, stopped by a few friends' podcasts, whatever. I stopped by Real Progressives a couple times, but it wasn't something that I wanted to do. Like, oh, I want to get on YouTube and talk about politics. It was never, and then I kept getting invited, and then I just kept getting encouraged. Here, come on this show. Here, do this. And then, then I met Pasta and Fee, and they were like, oh, you got to do more. And here I am now. It's totally been organic. Everything about me being in this movement has been organic. I started in a trailer park and here I am, still in a trailer park, but much wiser. Okay, let's talk about what's going on today. I like this. So if you won the lottery today, like a big one, let's say $100 million, what's the first thing you'd buy? What is it? Don't say paying off debt. I'm talking about what's the first thing you buy. And I love somebody tweets back, I'd make an appointment for a doctor and a dentist. Absolutely. That's my biggest thing. Like, oh my gosh, if I could get my teeth fixed, that would be a dream come true for me. Like in my world, in my reality, dental work is not something that's attainable. I mean, the best I can do is get into our local public dental clinic, and all they'll do is rip them out or clean them. And they don't even clean them very well. So yeah, the dream is a dentist appointment for me, and doctors, that's a little bit more, that's even worse because I just don't trust Western medicine personally after my own experiences of pharmaceuticals taking over my life. So I tend to stay away from the doctors unless I'm on death's doorstep, like, okay, I have no choice to go. That's when I end up at a doctor's. But pretty much I try to heal, treat, figure out, and do my own, which I'm going through menopause and having to figure out hormonal imbalance without getting, blood work done, or, I'm constantly reading and trying new stuff out, new homeopathic ways to cure hot flashes and, all of that. This is something that we don't talk about as a society, is menopause. And what, half of us out there are women, half of us are going to go through it, and it just becomes a joke. I mean, menopause is the butt of a joke for a lot of things, right? Like, oh, she's angry, she's over 40, she's menopausal. Well, yeah, if we actually talked about it, it would be, people would understand why it's so debilitating. It is fucking debilitating. Can I tell you? I went through 10 years of opiate addiction, and menopause whoops my ass more than that, man. The hot flashes, the not being able to sleep, the irritability. I mean, the list just goes on. That just come out of nowhere. One day you're just angry. I don't know if it ever goes away. I've talked to a lot of women who say it doesn't ever fucking go away after it starts. 50, 60 years old. I don't know. You guys tell me. Those out there who've done it, do they know? Good morning, Red Cloud. Welcome. Marby Dog. Hey, Marby. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I'm just talking shit till we get into the actual deck. So travel while you're young and able. Don't worry about the money. Just make it work. Experience is far more valuable than the money will ever be. I can't agree more with this. I traveled a lot as a young woman. At 16, I got a job with basically a scam company where they used to call you up and say that you could get this card and you'll get discounts all over town. It was called like a merchant sampler card or something. But they sent me off to Illinois, or no, Idaho. Iowa. It was Iowa. Anyways, I was 16 years old. I was in Iowa by myself. I was managing an office. I pretty much hit the ground running. And, that was my first time really being out on my own and traveling. And as scary as it was, I ended up taking a bus from Iowa all the way back to Seattle, and that was like a 5-day, trip. And then from there, every time I got a chance to travel, I've traveled across the country so many times I can't even count now. I always, and it opens your mind. It expands your horizon when you go out and you travel and you meet other people and you see other cultures and how they're living. And, I absolutely just think that travel is the best way to gain experience. I think that you become a little bit more empathetic to people when you've seen how they're living and where they're living. And I love that I've traveled as much as I have in my life. And I tell everybody, travel if you can, travel. Hey, SF Thomas, what's up? Happy Monday, people. Is it Monday? No, it's Tuesday. It always feels like Monday for me on Tuesday. That's funny. Yeah, I'm just gonna call it Tuesday forever. It looks like Shanda is on the Rock Finesse. Thank you. Yes, I am on the Rock Finesse today. Thank you, Oz, for getting me kicked off over there. I will get signed in. I promise I will get that off your plate. Breaking news. Loretta Lynn died at 90. This was this morning. We heard this. She had a good run, right? 90 is a good run. I've watched quite a few like Lifetime movies about her life, and I was a big fan of Patsy Cline. So Loretta Lynn and Patsy Cline were really good friends, and they did a lot of things together. And she was married to a real D-bag, if I remember right. Her husband, it was that mentality of you stay at home and you cook and you clean and you take care of the kids. And she had this amazing talent. And some people saw it. And, the more that they pushed her out there and promoted her talent, the more that her husband didn't want her doing what she was doing. I can't remember what his name was, but there's quite a few movies out there. So rest in peace, coal miner's daughter. She was the coal miner's daughter, right? Yeah. Yeah. I feel like my brain's not working this morning. Maybe more coffee, right? Jilly, good morning, Jilly. Jilly helped produce a lot of this show today. So I've got some shout outs in there for her. Thank you, Jilly, for all your help. When I'm so slammed with stuff going on, it is such a relief, Jilly, to be able to look in the feed, our DM, and just see so many stories. So in the morning, you are a lifesaver for me. I just go hit my Jilly feed, grab what I can grab and what I can move. And I appreciate you more than I can say, Jilly. Do you guys see this? I got this one from Jilly. Man who donated his mother's body to Arizona Center for Alzheimer's Research discovers it was sold to the U.S. military for $6,000 and strapped to a chair and blown up in a blast test. What in the actual F? We're hearing a lot more about this, right? Remember that story a couple months back about that guy who was selling off cadaver parts and cadavers, and there was people scattered all over. I never really heard a follow-up to that story, but yeah, this seems to happen a lot. Oh, come on, camera. Knock it off. Come on. There we go. I have another camera, but I'm taking it with me to DC, so I don't want to set it up until I get back. So I'm sorry. Yeah, this is a crazy, terrible story. The blow up grandma. I mean, I have the mentality of once I'm dead, I don't care what the hell you do with my body. But I guess, if you think about it, it's your mom. That's pretty fucking awful. Yeah, I bring you guys stories and I want you guys to go research them if you find them interesting. That's, I don't do deep dives. I mean, sometimes I do deep dives. If I take a topic and I want to do a whole show on it, I will. But my goal is to just bring you what I'm seeing. So that way, if you find it interesting, you can go look it up yourself and go check it out. And so many of you guys send us stories. You send us, tweets, clips. That's how we get you guys so much content. And that's my goal. Last night, I wanted to go watch a movie so bad, but I knew I had a show this morning. So I made myself do 2 hours of content research where I'm just consuming as much content as I can so I can bring you guys, what's pertinent, what's new, what's fresh. So thank you, Julie. Yeah, what the actual fuck on this one? Tom Petty passed away. This is the anniversary of Tom Petty passing away. He died on October 2nd, 2017. And this is important to me because, as you know, he passed because of fentanyl that was supposed to be oxycodone. And so, yeah, it was really sad. So on this day, October 2nd, 2017, the world lost a rock and roll legend, Thomas Earl Petty, October 20th, 1950. That's sad. He was what, 18 days before his next birthday. Was an American musician and led the vocalist and guitarist, lead vocalist and guitarist of the rock band Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. It was formed in 1976. Oh, wow. I was 2 years old. He was previously leader of the band Mudcrutch. I did not know that. Was a member of at least or the late 1980s supergroup Traveling Wilburys. I love Traveling Wilburys. And Tom Petty, he is one of the soundtracks of my life. I mean, I was 2 years old when they formed. Every hit he ever had, somewhere played in the soundtrack of my life. So it's sad. And we lost Prince that way too, right? They thought that they were taking a Percocet and they ended up taking fentanyl. And I'm going to do more on a fentanyl show on Thursday. I've got some updates for you. We're going to talk about amputations that are happening now because of the infections that we talked about last Thursday from the that they're putting, the horse tranquilizer that they're putting in these fentanyl derivatives that they're making. So check in on Thursday if you want to see that. I will have a viewer discretion. I got this from Comrade Misty Putin. Comrade Misty is Putin's buddy. Says 30 years ago today, Sinead O'Connor ripped up a picture of the Pope live on SNL that ended her career. She was right. The whole world still owes her an apology. Bravo, Misty. I agree. I'm not, it's not like I'm a huge Sinead fan, but yeah, I remember when that happened, right? And I was a little shocked, like, okay, so she just hates the Catholics. It was kind of my take on it, but I was like 15, what did I know? But now, hell yeah, she was calling them out for the sickos that they were and that they are and the children that they hurt. And we should never back off screaming about this ever, ever until they're held accountable for what they've done for the last, 150 fucking years. Sad she lost her career over it. Prince actually was the one who found her and pretty much gave her a career from what I remember, right? He wrote Nothing Compares to You. Pretty sure he did. And yeah, she made it a hit though. She still got a great voice. I've seen her in a couple of interviews over the years, It's sad. It's sad that Hollywood can do that to you. And that's what happens to you if you speak truth, man. They'll just kill your career. We've seen it over and over. Okay, so let's get into the videos. I got a lot of videos. Oz, this is an update for you because we've talked about this story so much. This is the gal that got hit by the train in the police car in Colorado. Horrible, horrible. But this is a kind of a Good Morning America update from her attorney. Now, we haven't actually seen her yet because she is recovering at home from the train crash. Thank God she lived. But I think the Colorado cops are going to be paying a lot of money to this woman. So let's check it out. Are you guys saying there's no sound? Is that audio muted? It's muted? Okay, let's do this. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to stop sharing. And I am going to share screen again. Make sure we get the audio this time. Okay. Let's try again. Let's see if we can get it to work this time. I mean, you guys know this story, but the update I brought on it is the fact that her attorney is now out there doing the rounds. So let's see if I can get it to work. Can you hear it?
How in the world could this happen?
The woman who survived this horrific train crash while handcuffed in the back of a police cruiser is now demanding justice.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Volume is low. Farron! I've got a Farron clip in here from yesterday. Okay, let me see if I can get it turned up. Stop. No, I don't need that. Yeah, it's already maxed out there. Where can I turn it up at? Let's try on the focus, right? It's weird. When I brought it into studio, it got really quiet. Might have to re-grab it. So let's see. Did it get louder? Louder? Why don't I have any sound?
That should have just never happened.
According to her attorney, the September 16th incident left Rios-Gonzalez with numerous injuries.
She woke up in the hospital. She has a fractured tibia, a broken arm. She had 9 broken ribs.
The edited 8-minute video released by police begins at 7:49 at night, with police pulling over Rios-Gonzalez, stopping her and leaving the police cruiser on the tracks.
Turn around! Turn around!
7:51 with guns drawn. Police.
Not louder. Gosh. Okay. I'm going to take it. I'm just going to rip it out of the studio, remove it. I'm going to remove the feed, stop stream. Okay. Where else could I turn it up? I've turned it up on the YouTube. People are messaging me. Morning. Good morning, Amber. The way to get to me is a text. That's the fastest way. God, how can I get this sound any higher? I don't know why it's not getting higher. Let's just see if it was that clip. Let's see if it was that clip. Can you hear this? Okay, I'm waiting on you guys. Let me know. How was that? Was that louder? Was it just the clip? Or is it literally my system that is having audio issues? Trying to think of where I could turn it up. Where can I turn it up? Let's try over here. Display settings. Sound. This sucks. Okay, I'm going to try to crank the master volume. See if maybe that helps. Okay, let's see if this helped. I'm going to bring this in. Oh, it'd help if I shared studio again. Oh, this is a Monday morning for me. Tuesdays are Monday mornings. And Farron, you and Kit did an amazing job yesterday. I can't wait till we get to that clip. You guys did such a great. You had me laughing. You had me screaming. Audio seems okay here, SF Thomas says. It's so weird. Some people can hear it, some people can't. But I think that it might be louder now. Let's see.
Well, my name's Joe Biden, and I don't want the headline to read, Biden brings storm to Puerto Rico. So I'm going to maybe have to cut this a little short. Let me start off by saying that Jill and I, and thank you very much for that lovely interview.
No, it's not better.
Jill and I are
still a piece of garbage.
And so I was sort of raised in the Puerto Rican community at home politically. And so we came here for a long time.
What? Yeah, okay, so Biden was apparently raised in Puerto Rico from what he just said. I think we all know better. Yeah, it's not better. Still kind of low. The volume is all the way up on your YouTube feeder. Yeah, it is. So let's hear. Let's do this. Yeah, it's all the way up. So I don't know. It's not muted. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to get our sound back. Nothing changes in the settings. So it's so crazy when you come in, and all of you who do shows, you know this. It's so crazy that the sound disappears. So let's do this. Okay, I think I might have figured it out because I noticed that the sound got quieter on me when I switched to my solo this morning. So I will turn the sound back to the TV, turn the TV all the way down, and see if we can get better sound for you guys. Okay, now I got to fast forward through all this. Oh, no, actually, I got to bring it back up. Farron, I'm so bummed that I'm going to miss you in DC. I totally want to hang out. Okay, let's try again. We'll just practice on the Biden one. I know you guys have heard this one. Can you hear it at all? Is it loud? Because I can't hear it now. No sound at all. Okay, well, that didn't work, did it? Why would my sound change? That's just so crazy. I've never had a problem with the sound. I mean, one time I had a problem with the sound with Stream Yards, but I've never had a problem with it before. Like Oz always says, audio is Satan. Okay, I've got it cranked. I've got it cranked as loud as it goes. We'll try again. That's all I can do, right?
To help however they can. And New York sent not only a congresswoman, the most congresswoman in the Congress, but the state troopers and emergency responders. Well, my name's Joe Biden, and I don't want the headlines.
Is it better? Not hearing anything at all now?
Brings storm to Puerto Rico.
No sound, no sound.
So
Lizzie, hi Lizzie.
Cut this little short.
See you in DC. Yay, I'm excited. No sound. Better. Kate says better. Is it better?
Jill and I are
I'm still a piece of garbage.
And so I was sort of raised in the Puerto Rican community at home politically. And so we came
What does
here
that
for
mean?
a long time.
Oh yeah, remember when he played that? Oh my God, this guy. So it looks like it might be better. Y'all saying it's better. It's better. I don't know what I fixed. I don't know what I did. But yeah, this guy, talk about, I won't even go there. I just won't even go there. We've got a lot of good clips of Biden getting heckled this week. So I've got those. Lizzie, thank you so much for the super Ray. It's been a tough morning for me on top of a super hot flash. Oh my gosh. Okay. We'll get this show together. How about this? Harry Worth. I love Harry Worth. You are the kindest, sweetest. Your tweets about us are so sweet and so kind. But thought for the day. Do you feel comfortable questioning and challenging authority? If you cannot question your religion, you live in a cult. If you cannot question your government, you live in a dictatorship. And if you cannot question your boss at work, will you get fired? Yes, we live in a dictatorship. We know this, right? And it's getting clearer every day, especially in light of what we saw yesterday with the fast track of NATO expansion. And we're going to talk about that next. I think that's what's coming up next in the deck. Yes. Did you guys see this? Kit and Farron tearing it up yesterday, talking about how it's such bullshit. And I agree with you, Farron. You were on fire and I was cheering you on. Go, Farron, go. I mean, the fact that we're protecting the Ukraine at all costs and it's going to lead us into World War III is what it looks like now. So let's hear what Farron and Kit, you guys talked about some great shit. I love the school lunch program that you talked about yesterday. I didn't bring that, but kudos. That's a great story. And those are the stories I love because I was that kid in line on free or reduced lunch. I was that shamed kid. And thank you so much for covering that, Farron. And Kit, you guys are doing a great job over at Heartlands Media too. So here they are hanging out from yesterday.
One can be tough behind a keyboard or with a cell phone. As soon as the final shoe is dropped, things will not go back to normal. There will never again be a moment in time like this. So everyone who's involved in the dialogue and conversations needs to stop what they're doing, sit down at the table, and talk it out. Because if we don't, again, there will not be a recovery. We won't rebuild and be like, oh, that was a tough war like in World War II and everyone's building. No. There will be no world left to rebuild. There might be some places that'll be okay to live in, but nowhere, and especially in the major metropolitan areas. So
and that's where you look at it and everyone's like, oh, well, Putin's crazy. Putin's a man. You know, he's the crazy bear. And it's like, okay, if you can acknowledge that you have a crazy madman, why are you supporting a puppet guy like this saying, oh, we're going to take our decisive step in signing Ukraine's application for accelerated access to NATO. That is the one thing that Putin said. And here he does this whole thing of, oh, look, we're going to sign it. We're going to have this big, like, look at the camera and look at, oh my God, there's our signatures. Here we go. It's like, you people, like, when I say you people, I mean Congress and the White House supporting this. And this is the number one thing Putin said he never wanted. He said, never have Ukraine be part of NATO. And then this idiot who thinks he's going to be like, oh, look at how tough I am at 5'7". I'm going to be part of NATO now. It's like, are you insane? Are we all ready to die over a country that is being that has US money funneled through it by our corrupt politicians, that's taking all of our money? Hold that thought on how much money we've given, because we're giving more. And you're going to talk about how Putin's crazy? I'm sorry. I think at this moment now, we're the crazy.
Damn it, I'm having a tough morning. Yes, Farron, you did an amazing job. You nailed it right on the head. I mean, the fact that that's their personal laundromat. We know the Ukraine is their personal laundromat, and the amount of money that we are dumping into the Ukraine. Look around. Our infrastructure has got a D minus for the last 10 fucking years in this country. We have hundreds of thousands of people on the streets from freaking city to city. Aw, Farron, thank you so much for hitting my GoFundMe. That's going to help out so much for Amber and I's trip. Thank you. I can't thank you guys enough. Oh my gosh. But Farron, you killed it, and you had me riled up, because I've been saying the same thing. Everybody coming at me about, we got to support Ukraine. We got to do Ukraine. Like, no, fuck that. They're going to take us into World War III. And I see this fast track in NATO as taking us straight into it. And I'm not the only one. Go look at any of the independent commentators out there that have a little bit of fucking common sense and do some research. And we're all screaming the same thing. This is a bad freaking road for us to be going down. Wasn't it in 92 when the Soviet Union fell, or 91, that we promised that we would never even think about them being a NATO state? NATO was created to push back against the Soviet state, right? The Soviet state hasn't existed since the early 90s. And now there's double the amount of countries that have. This is gangs, right? It's one world gang beating up on another world gang, is how I see it playing off. And it's not going to pay out well for us. And it doesn't bother them, right? They need to get rid of us. We're less of us to contend with is fucking fine with them. And who goes to war? It's our kids that go to war. It isn't their fucking kids. And we know that. So yeah, unmute. I'm unmuted now. I think this sounds better. Thank you, everybody who's been sending me messages and reminders. And it's been a hell of a morning. I don't know why, but trying to get this shit together. Did you see this? Oops, some truths got told on American TV, and the I don't even know who this reporter is, but she was losing her shit and melting down that it was happening on her show. So let's take a look. Fingers crossed we'll have good sound.
Well, Europe is in a very, very sharp economic downturn. The sharp decline of output and living standards also shows up as a rise of prices. But the main fact is that the European economy is getting hammered by this, by the sudden cutoff of energy. And now, to make it definitive, the destruction of the Nord Stream pipeline, which I would bet was a U.S. action, perhaps U.S. and Poland. This is
right, Jeff, we got to stop there. That's quite a statement as well. Why do you feel
Absolutely.
that was a U.S. action? What evidence do you have of that?
Well, first of all, there's direct radar evidence that U.S. Helicopters, military helicopters that are normally based in Gdansk, were circling over this area. We also had the threats from the United States earlier in this year that one way or another, we are going to end Nord Stream. We also have a remarkable statement by Secretary Blinken last Friday in a press conference. He says, this is also a tremendous opportunity. It's a strange way to, it's a strange way to talk if you're worried about the piracy on international infrastructure of vital significance. So I know this runs counter to our narrative. You're not allowed to say these things in the West. But the fact of the matter is, all over the world, when I talk to people, they think the U.S. did it. And just to tell you, and by the way, even reporters on our papers that are involved tell me privately, yeah, well, of course, but it doesn't show up in our media.
Professor, I don't want to get into tit for tat about what did or did not happen with Nord Stream, because I don't have the evidence and we don't have a counterbalance to this.
And you never will.
Not good.
Shut up! Shut up!
Please
Shut up!
stop.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
So I'm sure a lot of you've seen that. I hear that it's low again. I don't know why these clips are all over the place. I'm gonna work on it after the show. I'll do my best. And yeah, the CC, that's a good idea, Jilly, to put the closed caption up there. If I could do it in real time, I would, but I think I have to go into my YouTube settings. The fact that this guy, he's a professor, he said what the truth is, what we all know, what people around the world know, right? We know who did it. We know because we heard the threats 3 months ago come out of Biden's mouth. We know because of everything they've done this last summer. We know. And sadly, the people of Europe are going to suffer, and so are the people of the United States. I mean, have you seen gas prices? They ain't down. They're back up. You know, have you gone shopping? Have you seen grocery prices? This is a direct result of the Democrats and the military industrial complex wanting to play these fucking war games. And we know it. And so why? So they can have world dominance, because you know what? Putin was getting a little too powerful for their taste. So, you know, have you seen Anthony Blinken's interviews? Oh my God. You know, if you're not watching Richie Medhurst around this time, whenever there's a, global conflict like that, I go to Richie. Richie, he's out there. He knows. And I don't agree with everything Richie says, but I'll tell you what, when it comes to this, he's been doing the research for fucking years. He knows. And I think I have a Richie. Can you boost it? Somebody says I can boost my audio. Audio is so off today. I know. I don't know. I'm so sorry. Let's see if Richie's any better. I wonder if when I mute, does it get better? Let's try this. Okay, so I'm going to hit play, and then I'm going to mute myself and see if it gets louder, because Oz is convinced it gets louder when I do that. So let's see if that works.
So now Zelensky wants to join NATO, and we come to the crux of the issue, which is that the expansion of NATO has always been a problem for the Russians. They've been saying this before anybody heard of Vladimir Putin. Okay, Vladimir Putin was a nobody when the Russians were raising this issue to Western diplomats and saying, you need to back off and stop, edging and inching closer towards our borders. And it's funny because you have multiple historical documents you can point to, whether it's the minutes from the reunification talks, the 2+4 talks when they were reuniting Germany. The Russians said, if you want us to support this, to allow East and West Germany to unite, you cannot expand NATO. That's the precondition. And they agreed. The West said yes. And then now they come back and say, hey, we didn't sign anything. Yeah, but you told the Russians that you would not expand NATO, and you lied. You lied. So then on top of that, you can point to 2008 Bucharest summit. There was a NATO summit where they explicitly said, we are allowing Ukraine and Georgia to join NATO. And that was, again, under the Bush administration. You could see how even after the Cold War is done, and we're talking a couple of presidencies ago, they're still trying to provoke the Russians. They're still trying to go further. It's not enough they got Poland, Lithuania. No. Let's keep going. Let's keep going, man. As many as possible. Come on. Remember, since the end of the Cold War, NATO has doubled its membership. How does that make sense? NATO was created to fight the Soviets. The Soviets don't exist anymore. There is no Soviet Union. and you double the membership, double, not grow it by a little bit, double it. No wonder the Russians are pissed, man. I'd be pissed.
Okay, I think we got all of the tech issues worked out. If for some reason I had multiple instances of my Scarlett Solo coming in and it was on communication or speakers, I don't know, but I think it got better for you guys. I'm seeing it got louder, and I appreciate all of you guys hanging out as I got through my tech issues this morning. Audio is the devil. We say it all the time, and there's just, you got to go through it. Richie's loud. Yeah, Richie is great, and he's right. He is absolutely right. I mean, it shouldn't even be a goddamn thing anymore. It shouldn't even be a thing, but because they want to continue, and they want to expand the Cold War, they want to, have reasons to fund the military industrial complex. And yeah, we're going to talk about the whole Elon thing because, Elon was a savior last night with what he said. And not that I disagree with what he said, but let us not forget who the fuck Elon really is and where he got his money and who pays him, right? So Caitlin Johnstone says avoiding nuclear war is the single most important agenda in the world. The single most important agenda in history. It is more important than your political faction. It is more important than how Vladimir Putin makes you feel feelings. And it is more important than anything else. And I agree. The fact that at this point in humanity that we can't even have a fucking conversation about peace means that they've got a global agenda. They're going to march ahead, and we are all just cannon fodder in that. So nothing we say are going to do is going to change this. And we know that what they want to do, right? If Ukraine becomes a NATO state, right? If they fast track it and they say a week from now, okay, you're part of NATO. What does that mean? What does that entail? Yeah. Thank you, Jilly. Elon is DARPA. I agree. What does that mean? That means that if they want war, the other NATO countries got to get behind them. I mean, let us never forget when we went into Iraq and most of the world wasn't supporting it. And we just gave everybody a big finger and said, we'll do what we want. We don't need permission from you guys. And in a way, this is them getting permission. By fast tracking Ukraine into NATO, this is them getting getting permission. And, the fact that we are telling Russian people, the Ukrainian people are Russian people. Most of them are. And they clearly are stating that they want to be with Russia. Yet here we are telling them no, and then allowing real Nazis to kill them, right? I don't even, we're not allowed to say that on YouTube. I'm sure. I'm so tired of what YouTube allows us to say. What this is America. If you would have told me 5 years ago, even 10 years ago, that you will not be allowed to say certain things, I'd be like, you're high. This is America where we have freedom of speech. Well, we all know freedom of speech has been gone for a long freaking time, right? So yeah, let's get down to Elon. So I got this from everybody. All of a sudden, my phone started blowing up last night. My son, he adores Elon. And I'm always like, caution, he's a military industrial complex. Where do you think he got his money? He got his money from DARPA, I don't trust anything that this man does. But he does have power enough to push back on them a little bit. Because believe me, if they start talking about canceling Starlink or any of his other tons of contracts that he has with the government, he'll lose all that money, right? So he's going to push back just enough to make him look cool and have a lot of support on Twitter, but not enough to actually fucking make any change. And some of the responses I saw were just stupid. Like, Oz sent me, I should have grabbed it. Mariana Williamson, right? Oh, you're so naive. Honey, who's naive? You're naive. We told you were naive when you tried to run for president a couple of years ago, that the Democratic Party would eat you alive. Guess what? You came out crying and the Democratic Party ate you alive. You're the naive one. But let's hear from Salty Cracker about Elon, because who doesn't like salt in the morning?
What did you say? I said Premier Kissov is a degenerate atheist. Mr. President, take your ass to the law, eh? You war muttering boy. Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Elon Musk showing a bunch of normies today that there is no peaceful exit plan. There is no strategy for peaceful exit with the Ukraine situation. That was never, ever part of the deal. The globalists who have set up this situation in Ukraine, they want war. They want hot war. They want nuclear fallout. They want Putin to overextend himself, and then they want to induce him into a trap where they invoke Article 5 and send NATO into the direction of Russia. The Ukraine situation is not just localized kinetic warfare inside Ukraine. So Russia leaving Ukraine is not the game plan. No, they want Putin removed from Moscow. That's what these people want. Ukraine was the bait. Ukraine is a tarp, and they thought that Putin fell for it. They thought that Putin was going to overextend himself, and they would be able to trigger an explosion at a nuclear facility and then say, oh, that's it. Article 5. We're all going to do. All of Western civilization is going to attack Russia unless Putin steps down. That was clearly the plan, because there is no situation where they want a peaceful exit or a resolution to this situation. Take a look. We keep dumping billions and billions and billions of dollars into this shithole every week. Every week. And what do we get out of this? Nothing. Nothing. There is no peace envoy. There are no discussions between DC and Moscow. There's nothing going on that would send any type of signals that a peaceful resolution is what any of these globalist kidfuckers want.
Yeah, he's not wrong. They are globalist kid fuckers, right? We say that all the fucking time, and it's true. If you think that we're crazy and half-inch, maybe you should do some research into what these I don't even want to call them elites, right? They're not elites, they're parasites. What these parasites are doing, feeding off of the rest of us, and they don't need a declaration of war. I mean, we're already at war. We know it's a proxy war, but if they want to go full on, they will. We saw that multiple times in the last century. And sadly, there is no exit plan for the Ukraine. Come on, like our exit out of Afghanistan. Yeah, that was smooth, wasn't it? That was great. All the equipment that we left behind, all the people that we just left to, their own. Oh, sorry, you worked for us now, but now you're sorry, you're on your own. I mean, we don't do exits because we don't make money when we exit, and sadly, this is not going to get better, guys. It's scary. It's scary if you ask me. But I just want to say, fuck Elon. I think Pasta gave me this a long time ago. Fuck Elon. Elon, so he gets to go out there and say some true things more than anybody else, right? But when it came right down to it, he ain't going to do shit. He'll lose those contracts. He'll lose that money. Let us not forget what Starlink actually is and who actually uses it. I know he was in Florida this week, like, oh, I'm giving the good people of Florida access to internet with Starlink. No, you're taking advantage of a disaster to get your product into the hands of, these people using the government to fund it. That's what he always does. So he is evil. I don't care what anybody says, He's a genius, evil genius, I think. How am I doing? Is my sound better, guys? It's been a rough morning. Let's make some fun. Memeology was on fire the last 24 hours. You guys did it good. So yeah, let's look at those. Oh, go back. What are you doing? So yeah, I don't know about the whole ally thing, but the fact that the government is donating these, what does that tell you? What I mean, yeah, we talk about it constantly. He is not a good guy, and I wish people would wake up to who Elon is, who funds Elon. All of these big players, Zuckerberg, and Dorsey, and we could just go on. They're funded by our military-industrial complex. That's where they got their money to be as powerful as they are. Bill Gates, right? This money isn't coming out of the pockets of everyday people. It's coming from our government via our pockets. But, so I think that might be the end of that. Come on. Yeah, let's do some funnies. United Spot's got some funnies this morning. Him maintaining his hairline was probably genius. Yeah, he had hair implants. If you go back and you look at the old videos of him, it was back here. And then I love when he had that evil villain do where he had it shaved around the side. Why do they always have to look like evil villains? I've heard that the Starlink, it only works half the damn time. I know of some gamers that, they use it, and it's really expensive to get set up. And then it turns out that it has a lot of intermittent problems from what I hear. So maybe putting the whole world on Starlink so that way they can track us and drop bombs on us isn't a good idea. Just saying. We'll make it through the show, guys. We will. We will. So let's check out a United Spot.
Well, guys, it's time. Time for me to be president?
Hello? I thought I was gonna be president?
Silence! If anyone's gonna be president, it's gonna be me. Well, can I be president for a little bit? Yeah, Kamala, you can be president for a little bit. We just can't make it too obvious.
This isn't fair! I should be president!
Damn it, Hillary! That was never part of the plan!
Well, Joe, it's that time.
Time for what?
You know, what we told you.
Wait, what? What'd you tell me?
Gosh damn it, Joe! You seriously can't remember? Come on, man. If it ain't on the teleprompter, anyways. You see? This is why it's time, Joe. Like, what are you talking about? Time for what? I still say it should be me instead of Nancy.
Hey! Let me tell you something, all right? I am the House Speaker, all right? And I'll be damned if anyone is going to be president besides me.
Hey! I thought I was going to be the first female president!
Shut up, Kamala!
Well, how are we going to get Joe out of the White House? He still believes he's president!
You leave that to me. I've got it all figured out.
You wanted to see me?
Yes. Yes, I did.
What'd you want to see me about?
I have something very important to ask you, Joe.
All right, what is it?
What letter am I thinking about right now?
3?
That's right. Now, what number am I thinking about?
Potato?
That's right. Good job, Joe.
I did it. So, do I get a medal or something? Or?
No, Joe, no. But you do get to advance to the next round. All right?
Oh, yeah? What's the next round?
I want you to go see Obama, all right?
Can I bring a teleprompter?
No, you can't bring a teleprompter.
Come on, man.
Hey, so listen, if you pass this test, you'll stay president. But if you fail, they won't be president anymore.
Wait a minute. I'm president?
Go see Obama, Joe.
Well, what do I do when I get there?
Use the force. Use
the force. Okay, I'm not muted. So I got a couple of messages I want to read out. So Amber King says this morning, Musk says he's buying Twitter again for the list price. Oh, because that worked out so well for him last time. Will he eventually end up with Twitter? Probably. Would be my guess, right? A few truths have came out of it about how Twitter is ran by bots, but anybody who's paying attention knows that, right? And let's see, what did I have over here? Let's see. Jim says I sarcastically predict that Starlink will release a super netbook computer that can sell to schools with private features built in. Yes, absolutely. And remember, he went into Puerto Rico after the hurricane a couple of years ago, and he was going to give them all power. I've done a follow-up story on that like a year ago, and it didn't go so well. A lot of the equipment was crap. It wouldn't work. I mean, he says these big glorified plans, and then when he goes to, actually fulfill them, it never seems to work out. And now, he's in Florida putting Starlink substations up, and we're getting all of these communities back online. But yeah, like you say, I predict it too. I agree. I think that it's a way to gain control, right? When everybody's connected to Starlink, he who has all the data wins, right? That seems to be where we're headed nowadays. And thank you guys for being so kind about my audio issues today. Leonard Trust Fund, we love you, Shanda. It's always perfect, even when it's not. I'm learning on the fly. I've learned so much in the last 2 years. I mean, I've learned so much in the last 8 years since I got into this movement. But tech and audio, and learning how to use all these studios and to engineer my own shows, it was much easier when I did it. I can tell you, but you got a learning curve, and I'm learning. So now I'll know to go check my audio, make sure it's set on the right solo, because apparently I have two. And yeah, I'll get there one of these days. I'm a quick learner, so within I'd say a couple of months, these shows will be completely smooth, and I'll be able to do them in my sleep. So practice makes perfect, and you guys are here helping me practice, so thank you. Yeah, let's see. Nancy would never slum it drinking Smirnoff. I agree with you, President Jesus. So she probably drinks the really expensive top shelf shit, right? I wouldn't even know what that looks like. What is that? I'm used to, White Port and Mad Dog. I don't even know. Oh, what else do we got? Oh, did you guys see this? Where they accidentally told the truth about how they own the science and they can control the internet. Yeah, this is a clip from the World Economic Forum that's been making the rounds. And of course, Carl Vernon, if you're not following Carl Vernon, please do. I think he's got his finger on the pulse of the Clown Planet. He has a channel called the Clown Planet, and he does a great job of getting these little clips out there. So let's check it out.
We partnered with Google, for example. If you Google climate change, you will, at the top of your search, you will get all kinds of UN resources. We started this partnership when we were shocked to see that when we Googled climate change, we were getting incredibly distorted information right at the top. So we're becoming much more proactive. We own the science, and we think that the world should know it, and the platforms themselves also do. But again, it's a huge challenge that I think all sectors of society need to be very active in. We own the science, and we think that the world, should know it.
We think the world should know that we own the science, right? That's what she's saying. Not that the world should know about climate change, but that we own the science, and what we say should be the only thing that you hear, see, or read. And that's the world we're living in. That's the reality we're living in now. We thought the internet was just going to open the world and communication up, right? And it did. It really did. But then those in power saw, the truths are getting told on us, and now they are pulling back on us so hard. I think about people in my past, like my grandfathers, both of them that fought. One fought in World War II, one fought in Korea, and how they would react to what we're going through nowadays. And they're rolling in their graves. They're rolling in their graves. Everything that they fought for in every damn war. And now, I want to know what they'd think about now that time has passed and we know why those wars started, like the Korean War. Some of the shit we did during the Korean War, it was horrendous. I mean, I think we were using white phosphorus for the first time there. I mean, like, I just wonder, what do these people who sacrificed their lives and, their youth to go fight for our country, because America, would say about where we're at in this time in history? I don't know, but I know they wouldn't be happy. More Joe Biden. I was doing this. So I had some audio issues when I was filming my candidate forum. That was my fault, but I figured it out. So I missed like the first 8 minutes of a speech that one of the candidate surrogates was saying. So when I got it all cut up, I called the candidate herself, and she's running against Derek Kilmer. So it's a pretty big seat. I mean, Derek Kilmer is like the fifth fat cat on the hill. He has some of the most power in the House. And I said, well, do you want to just come into my studio and I'll record your message and we can just add it to the candidate forum? So I brought her in and we did it. And she goes, do you have a teleprompter? And I was like, no, I'm not Joe Biden. Why would I have a teleprompter? So, don't use teleprompters if you're out there being a candidate. People like authenticity, right? So, yeah, here's another Biden gaffe. Let's watch this.
As he said, he was doing it before he hit the ground floor. Remember what he said? He said, I'm going to take on those rapist Mexicans. Then he said, no, there's never been a president.
That's a lie, Joe.
Never been a president.
That's a lie.
Oh, it is a lie.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
And it was your son in the Ukraine. All right.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah. You're the one that offered to withhold $1 billion to cancel foreign relations. Son of a bitch, he got fired. What must be what? What must be what?
My butts be wet. Yeah, I love that he's getting heckled in real time. I've spent a lot of time with Republicans lately, and I can't say I agree with them on anything. I went through that whole candidate forum and listening to their answers to the questions that the community asked. They're full of shit. Half the time I'm just sitting there shaking my head like, oh my God, the pendulum's going to swing back all the way to the other side, and it's not going to get better for us. It's going to get worse. So, I'm not saying go out there and support Republican candidates. I say support independent candidates if you are still doing politics that are actually knowing the truth about these issues and not just regurgitating the talking points of either side. If I hear voter fraud anymore versus election fraud, there is no election fraud according to the Democrats, and there is voter fraud according to the Republicans. It's just mind-numbing, like to be trapped in the middle. I literally sat in between a chair of the Democrats and a Republican the other day, and just I could feel trapped, right? Just like, oh my God, I don't agree with either side of this ideology. But it looks like Republicans will, sweep some of these chairs, and they'll probably take control. Right. And it'll be interesting to see how extreme they go, because we know the Republicans can be just as goddamn extreme as the Democrats on some of their issues. So I'm glad to see he's getting heckled. At least I love to see anybody who's heckled with the truth. And Biden, that was straight up truth. I don't remember Trump exactly saying that. Yeah, he implied racist shit like that all the time, but my butt been wiped. Oh, that's what he's saying. My butt been wiped. I always thought he said butt been wet, but yeah, kudos to people that are going out there and actually calling these guys out, because that's what we need to do. Being in the middle is so rough. There's New Jersey Devil. I agree. Both sides screaming their heads off. And in the meantime, we, the everyday fucking people, are the ones suffering, right? The amount of taxes we're paying, gas prices, grocery prices, lack of housing prices, the list goes on and on of what we, the fucking people of this country, are suffering. They're comfortable. Both sides are comfortable, right? If you're a legislator, you're being well compensated and taken care of. So you ain't got no shits to give. And I do see more Republicans talking about the plight of the working than I have in any of the years before. The plight of the working class, that it's getting harder to make ends meet. That it's getting harder to pay that power bill. That it's getting harder to fill up your gas tank and get to work. It's getting harder to buy groceries. Let's see. Shanda Burmis was voter fraud this morning. Talk to him. Yes, I know they're all talking voter fraud. And right, okay, so we've seen a swing. For those of you who know, I am a trained vote observer, and I have spent the last 4 elections going into my county auditor's office and sitting there and watching the votes, right? And getting an idea of how our system in my county works and in my state, how they're opened, how the signatures verified, how they're put into the machine, how they're counted, where that number goes, how it's transferred onto a flash drive, and how it's uploaded to the state system for reporting, right? That's vote observing. That's what I do. And then now you look at how it changed in 2020, right? So I got to be careful because we're on YouTube and you're not allowed to say anything about election F on here. And we had major election F during 2016 coming into 2020. But COVID changed a lot, right? COVID changed when they just did the mail out ballots to everybody. That changed a lot. And that is where a lot of the new voter fraud comes in, right? And you guys know, you're following Pasta over on the Convo Couch and Fee. They've done some amazing reporting of this. I mean, they have gone to so many election sites. Florida, I mean, we saw them in Arizona for the recounts, you know. And yeah, I'm worried that as we go into this next election, you know, we're expecting a big red wave, right? And that's what the Democrats deserve by their policies. That's what's coming for them. But will we truly see that in light of how voting is happening across our country since COVID? That's my question, you know? And so there is a little bit of validity to the claims of voter fraud, but I'm not going to say enough to change much, because here's the thing. In my county, they only came up with seven people that voted that shouldn't have. And the Republicans are pissed that they didn't get prosecuted. And our prosecutor is like, hey, I got more important stuff to do than, you know, prosecute these people whose grandma died and then they voted for him, that type of thing. So it's definitely something that we need to look to. I saw Burmis was live as I was setting up, so I will definitely go watch that. You know, I'm part of the Burmis Brigade, and Burmis is normally dead on. So I look forward to seeing what his analysis is about that. Okay, I kind of mentioned this last week, but I brought this so that way we could talk about it. You know, the Democrats are going to be out there toting all the things they did, right? I'm seeing memes all over from the left about, you know, the CHIP Act and the, you know, the Reduction Act and all the things that the Democrats have passed and shoved down our throats. Well, they're going to be saying that they gave student debt relief. Look at how much student debt relief we gave. Well, now they're rolling that back. Let's hear it from Jimmy Dore.
Hey, remember when Joe Biden said he was going to relieve student debt? Watch this.
Using the authority Congress granted the Department of Education, we will forgive $10,000 in outstanding federal student loans. In addition, students who come from low-income families, which allowed them to qualify to receive a Pell Grant, will have their debt reduced to $20,000. Both of these targeted actions are for families who need it the most. Working and middle-class people hit especially hard during the pandemic, making under $125,000 a year. You make more than that, you don't qualify. 95% of the borrowers can benefit from these actions. That's 43 million people.
Kurt, what? Because it's not happening. All that was bullshit.
Now, do you think Ben Glebe has already read up on this and knows how it's been updated, or do you think would still say it? Because I bet you he don't know about this.
I'm going to guess a lot of people are going to be informed about this through this video. So Biden administration. Now we're teasing our good friend Ben. Because
I remember
when he came on, he said the Democrats are just a little bit better than the Republicans, which is a funny thing to say off the top, but they're not. So Biden administration, that's the whole point of this show, was to show people that Barack Obama and Bill Clinton and Joe Biden can get evil done way easier than their Republican opponent. Bill Clinton was not the lesser of two evil, which I just explained in the other segment with Chris Hedges.
If you look better doing it.
Right.
I'm in showbiz. Yeah. Don't you understand? I'm aesthetics, baby.
It's much easier to get Barack Obama to drone bomb Muslims and brown people around the world and deport more Hispanics than every president combined since 1890 than it is to get a guy like Donald Trump to do that.
It was good when he did it. I supported it.
Yes, that's right. I hope people getting it. Here it is. Biden administration scales back student debt relief for millions amid legal concerns.
Is it how they scale it back this way? Like, we're still going to forgive. You still have to pay it, but we forgive you for taking so long.
In reversal, the Education Department said on Thursday it would no longer allow borrowers.
Oh, it cut off early. So it'll no longer allow borrowers who took out Pell grants to just have them completely wiped, right? And that was a huge chunk of that number that they were out there toting. And so, yeah, I feel bad for all those who think that they're going to get student debt relief, that they're just going to wake up to find out, no, you're not. They might let you take longer to pay it, it sounds like. And don't let Democrats use this as one of their token talking points as we go into this election. Drop the truth on them. That, that has been my single freaking goal since 2016. It's not to tear up Republicans. I can do that any day. I've done that my whole life. My job is to call out the Democrats who pretended to represent the people of this country for so long, right? They're the party of the people, and they tote the things that we feed them. We're the ones who support social programs. But every time under these Democratic freaking presidents, we see just as bad cuts to social programs as we did. Actually, I don't think we see them even as worse under Republicans. I mean, as a woman who, let's see, was on welfare when my first child was born, and that was when Bill Clinton was elected. The first thing he did was cut my food stamps, cut my welfare, and kick me off of it at 18 years old with a newborn baby and tell me to get a fucking job. I didn't know that at the time. I voted for Clinton thinking, oh, the Democrats. I've always been taught the Democrats are the People's Party. But now that I've gone inside the Democratic Party and been an elected Democrat for 4 fucking years, my only job on this planet is to call them out. And that's like Jimmy says, the only point of his show. It's to call these cheating liars out. It's one thing to be stabbed when you see the knife coming at you. It's another to be stabbed in the back. And that's what Democrats are doing to the American public. We have no party that represents the people, the working class people of this country. And as we come into this election, it is our job solely to be out there pushing back against their lies and their propaganda and their bullshit. So yeah, don't let them tote this. They didn't help as many people as they said they helped. Oh, this is a good one. I'm going to let you guys, I'm going to drop for you guys, but I got to get it ready. Let's see. How do I do this? I'm going to drop it in the chat so you guys can watch the end of it. This is an incredible, crazy story that I've never heard about time travel. Let's see. I think I can get it in the chat and then we'll pop back into it. You guys know I like these weird ones. So I like to bring them for you guys to watch. So that way we'll get it started and then you guys can go watch the end of it. We're almost at the end of the show. Yeah, we are at the end of the show. And so you guys can watch it later. But this is weird. This guy who built a time machine but then disappeared and never came back. Did he show up in the 1930s? Dead? I don't know. Oh, hold on. Let me go back into slideshow mode. There we go. Okay.
Time travel has been a hot topic for more than a century now. From physicists to filmmakers, everyone has dabbled in the subject out of curiosity. Time travel is the concept of movement of an object or person between 2 points in time, analogous to movement in different points in space. It is a widely recognized concept in philosophy and fiction alike. So far, it's uncertain if traveling to the past or future is physically possible. Such travel, if possible, gives rise to the question of causality. Outside the sense of the perception of time, forward time travel is an extensively observed phenomenon and well understood within the framework of special relativity and general relativity. But until now, making one body advance or delay more than a few milliseconds in comparison to another body is not achievable even with today's technological prowess. Traveling to an arbitrary point in space-time is a theory with very little support from theoretical physics. It is usually only connected with quantum mechanics and wormholes. But this statute of limitations hasn't stopped the alleged stories about successful time travel from giving people hope. Many incidents of people traveling through time have been reported by the news and have also gone viral on the internet. Most of these stories were either hoaxes or based on incomplete information. But the reports of an alleged time traveler who vanished for years returning to the present have recently become the talk of the town, and many are inclined to believe this could be a real incident. Join us as we try to untangle this mysterious tale of time travel. It all began in the year 1995 when a man named Mike Markham, like many other science fiction enthusiasts and real scientists, attempted to build a time machine. He started building this device on the porch of his home in Stanbury, Missouri, the USA. Mike named his device Jacob's Ladder. He was only 21 years old at the time and studying to become an electrician. During the process of learning electronics and wiring, he began messing around with the hardware and came up with the idea of creating a time machine. Mike truly enjoyed playing around on his porch with the newly acquired electrical knowledge. but his ticket to fame were his 1996-1997 appearances on Art Bell's radio show called Coast to Coast. In these appearances, he talked about his experiments associated with time travel. Then, soon after these radio shows, Mike Markham disappeared without a trace. Strangely, a few months later, a person called in Art's show with a mind-boggling story. The caller recalled an incident from the 1930s when a dead body was discovered on a California beach. The body was of a man and was mangled within a strange metal tube. There was a device with the body that looked a lot like a cell phone. The bizarre turn of events raised many questions, and the most asked one was whether this was the first ever documented case of time travel.
Crazy, right? They found him in a metal case in the 30s. They didn't know where he came from. He had a strange phone. So I dropped the link in both of the chats, the Rock Fan and all the YouTube chats. If you guys want to go watch that later, it's interesting to me. I've heard all the time travel stories. I've always, even when I was a kid, I was very intrigued by the Philadelphia experiment. And, if you go back, especially people like Burmis and Whitney Webb and Truthstream, those guys do some really great research into what our military was doing back in the 40s and 50s. And much like weather control, I think that they've had their finger on the, tip of this type of technology for many, many, many years. And especially now with what we see with the Hadron Collider and CERN and particle physics. I think it's absolutely at least possible to go backwards. I'm not convinced we can go forwards, but I think we can go backwards. There is a rumor about a machine that was invented that allowed you to look back in time. So you could watch a point in history. I think that is mentioned in this one. So definitely follow that channel. It's a great channel. They do some, I like these type of stories here. So I bring them for you guys. Yeah. Flex. So weird, right? I think, I've got one more today, but I'm going to have to drop this screen. Let's see. Stop screen sharing, screen share. I've got a George Carlson that I wanted to bring you real fast, or Carlin. Let's see. There we go. Oh, well, I had it. Yeah, I missed that one, but if you haven't watched that, go watch that. That was Glenn Greenwald. Always does a great job on Tucker, right? But this is the one I wanted to play. Let's make it big. And we'll hit play.
You don't need a formal conspiracy when interests converge. These people went to the same universities and fraternities. They're on the same boards of directors. They're in the same country clubs. They have like interests. They don't need to call a meeting. They know what's good for them, and they're getting it. And there used to be 7 oil companies. There are now 3. It will soon be 2. The things that matter in this country have been reduced in choice. There are 2 political parties. There are a handful of insurance companies. There are about 6 or 7 information thing. But if you want a bagel, there are 23 flavors because you have the illusion. You have the illusion of choice. Right. You don't get the real important choice. There's no freedom of choice. That's a great point.
So, of course, that was on Bill Maher. I noticed Bill Maher's out touring. Don't listen to Bill Maher. That guy is such a shit talker. He don't have a clue. He's one of them, right? He's one of the ones that Carlin was just talking about that went to those schools, that they're all friends. And if you don't believe that, you need to watch a little show called The Blacklist. Oz has got me addicted to The Blacklist. I'm watching all seasons. I think there's like 9 seasons, maybe 10 seasons, 10's on the way. And it is. I mean, yes, it was made for, network TV. So we know who influences network TV, but it's kind of funny the truths that are being told about how hand in hand that level of wealth is, right? No, they don't need to call a meeting. They are all friends. They all grew up together. They all went to the same colleges. They all were in the same fraternities and secret societies. And, that's all DC is. That's all DC is. And if you're willing to play their game, they might let you into their club, right? But you got to spew the lies and toe the line for them. Oh, it's been a rough show, guys, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Of course, now I have more people hanging on than I did all day. Let's see what's going on this week. I'm definitely doing a Trailer Park Pundit on Thursday. It'll be a to hell and back version. So we'll do some headlines and then we'll look at the fentanyl crisis in America like we do. I'm hoping Pasta will be back when I get back. So maybe next week we'll get an actual To Hell and Back Out. And no Beauty and the Boomer on Saturday because Amber and I are going to be on the grounds at Hands Off Assange with so many of our brothers and sisters, and so many of you are going to be out there, and we are so excited to meet you. I mean, I've got my list. I've got questions. I see Chris Hedges. I'm going to pick his brain. I see Scott Ritter. I'm going to pick his brain. I got my camera ready. We're going to get a ton of good footage. And now that we've been playing with actual doing video editing, we're going to bring you guys a video, of our trip. I'm going to try to get you as much as I can, and we'll get a video dropped for that. So I'm super excited for that. And, yeah, we leave Friday, so I don't think there'll be a Brave New Future because we'll be on a plane at that time. So sorry, guys. Roar Media is going to be a little light this week, but hey, I promise we're going to make up for it this weekend. Saturday, Amber's got the live streams coming out. We got streams coming from, so many of the other commentators and, social media people that are going to be on the ground. It's going to be a good thing. So tune in. I know Oz is working on a multi-stream feed for Saturday, so you can find it on Roar, but you're going to be able to find it on a lot of different channels. Comrade Misty Putin's buddy, Twitter, definitely check her out because she'll have everything that you need to know link-wise out there. And we're going to have a good time, but most of all, we are going to be steadfast in our support for Julian Assange. The biggest thing that I did this weekend with all of these candidate forums and shit that I've been doing is talking to people about Assange. You can't see my Assange pen, but I'm wearing my Assange pen. And, my House of Representatives, a candidate that's running against the Democrat, as soon as I brought up Assange, she was right there. Yes, we have got to support Assange. This is terrible. This is illegal. It needs to end. And that makes me so happy to hear Republicans finally saying that and understanding what it means to our First Amendment that this man is locked up and being tortured. So it's so important that we get out there and thank every one of you guys who's helped us, who's donated. Fair and Balanced, Farron, Franzak, thank you so much for your very kind donation today over on the GoFundMe. Of course, you can find all the links down below if you want to help out. And to every one of you, like I said, Thursday show, I'm going to do a big special reel for all of you who've donated in all the different ways, because we have the GoFundMe and we have the PayPals and we have our Patreons. I'm going to make sure nobody gets left out because these productions happen because of you. You yourself are producing independent media. By supporting us, by helping us get out there, you are the ones that are pumping this information out for us. And I can't thank you enough. I'm going to plug it in on my show tonight. Oh, thank you, Farron. Have a great show tonight, girl. I love watching you. It is a blast. You're having fun. Your sister's doing great too. And if you're not paying attention, you guys need to go follow Fair and Balanced because she's killing it. Sister Farron out there. Let me shout out my chats one more time. Let's see what's going on here, Jim. Amber's still hanging out. Oh, A-Rim, thank you so much. Roar Media gets a super ray from A-Rim. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. Denver Atway, welcome. NPR just did a story last week on how successful Clinton's welfare reform was. It was disgusting. Oh my God. Don't even get me started. The night that man got elected, I had lived on a commune. I was pregnant. I was 17 years old. I turned 18 a month before I had my first child. And I was living with a bunch of other teenage mothers and my step aunt, who was much older, but had been a welfare queen. That's what they called them in the 80s, right? A welfare queen. She raised her 2 kids on welfare because her husband left her. And, she worked small jobs, but even back then, and she called me up the night that Clinton got elected and she bawled her eyes out because she knew what it meant for all of us young girls that were trying to get a house, trying to get a car, trying to, get some funding to go to school when you're 17, 18 years old. And now you got a baby and you're trying to feed them on $200 food stamps and you're only receiving $340 a month. How are you going to get a house? How are you going to pay bills? I mean, this is where I was at. And I marched my ass right down to that polling booth because that was back when we had the old curtains and, the actual rolls. And I voted for Bill Clinton. I voted to screw myself. And, yeah, that's what the Democrats have done. Let us never forget the shit that Obama did. So we will always talk about that on this channel because we've lived it firsthand. So thank you, everybody over on the Rock Fin. And hey, Miguel H. I didn't get to shout you out over on Farron's show yesterday. Thank you so much. It's so much fun to go into these chats and hang out with everybody, all of the friends, all of the fams, right? Jilly Love, you're amazing. I think I've got a shout out to Jilly. Yes, I do. Jilly, thank you so much for helping me produce these shows. And thank all of you who send me, stories and whatnot. And Anthony with the super sticker over here. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you so much. I love the super stickers. They're one of my favorites. And let's see. I don't know. I might pop up sometime this week if I have stuff I want to talk about. Now that we're not going to do a Beauty and the Boomer. Normally I save it all for Beauty and the Boomer, but just watch for me. You'll never know. My channel might go live at some point. So I appreciate you guys more than I can say. And of course, we're going to go out with our regular America is the home of the hypocrite, because it is, right? And I don't take a copyright claim for this, so makes it easy. Thank you guys all so much for joining me today. And I will see you guys again Saturday from DC with Hands Off of Assange.
America is, America is, America is, America is, America is the home of the hypocrite. America is the home of the hypocrite. America is the home of the hypocrite. American dreams are full of it. Look at the Indians, look at the blacks, look at the figures, look at the facts, look at the facts, the facts not the lies, and you'll find out, big surprise, that America is the home of the hypocrite. America is the home of the hypocrite. America is the home of the hypocrite. American dreams are full of it. Indians, check out the blacks, and you check out the figures, and you check out the facts, check out some facts, check out the facts, not the lies, and you'll find out it's a big surprise, like between the eyes, that America is the home of the hypocrite. America is the home of the hypocrite. America is the home of the hypocrite. American dreams, only dream. No desperation limit, no desperation level. Even though my nose don't work, I smell trouble, I smell trouble. No desperation limit, no desperation level. Murder, murder in the government. Say you're sorry. No desperation limit, no desperation level. Turn the key, turn the lock. Nationalism, you can suck my. No desperation limit. Desperation level. Watch how the world's progressing everywhere. Aggression, 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 aggression.